We're here defending the capital. Winter is really an enemy for the soldier. It can be like -20, -30.
In the forest north of Kyiv, Ukrainian soldiers are braving the bitter cold. These troops beat back Russian forces in the battle for Kyiv 8 months ago.
Не спостерігаю жодного об'єкта в секторі спостереження. Як зрозумів? Прийом.
Now there's a new threat in the sky, an onslaught of missiles and drones attacking Ukraine's power grid.
A few months ago, our road changed drastically when Russia started using just drones. Then part of our tasks, it became like anti-drone protection.
If we doesn't have the services, it can be in a horror movie. It's the main goal of Russia to destroy our critical infrastructure, to destroy services what we give to the people. We have everybody to freezing. That's why I call that genocide.
This infantry platoon is learning to fight back.
So now we're entering trenches that were from the World War II, and it's like the history is the same.
History is repeating.
Yeah, it's repeating. We are protecting on the same place like it was there.
Today, Russia is receiving lethal drones from Iran.
We are trying to shoot them down when we see them. Last week there were 2 massive attacks of drones.
Увага! ГШР! До машин!
They train for a rapid response. When a drone is spotted, they go hunting. But still, too many drones and rockets hit their targets.
It's complex attacks, very complex, planned in detail, and it's a mass barrages, and they create this saturation effect, which means that even if we shoot down like 70 or 80% of this barrage, still like 30 or 20% they go through, and they do a major damage.
The southern city of Odessa has been blacked out after a weekend drone attack. Across the country, millions have no power, heat or running water, and there are grave fears for the capital.
After the last rockets attack to our hometown, our critical infrastructure was almost destroyed.
Hi, Mr. Klitschko. Nice to meet you.
Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, a former world champion boxer, warns Kyiv will be evacuated in a total blackout.
It's very cold, and without the water, without heating, electricity, city, the people can't stay in the city. It's no services. They can freezing. And that's why the situation can be pretty critical.
Residents who fled the front line at the start of the war are grappling with the prospect of evacuating again. The town of Irpin on Kyiv's outskirts is one of the hardest hit by Russia's latest campaign. Irpin resident Nadia Lysenko has twice had to flee for new shelter. She takes us to the 3rd floor apartment she used to call home.
Oh my God.
Here we had a wall, she tells me, but there's nothing, everything is burnt. A mundane chore saved Nadia's life.
I went out to throw out the trash. I turned around and it was all on fire. I left with only the clothes I was wearing.
Nadia and her granddaughters moved into emergency housing. The recent attacks on the power grid forced them out again.
There was a constant power outage. The condensation was leaking through the walls. Horror. Water flowed under our feet. The mattresses were so mouldy they were black. Eventually our children started to get sick, coughing, and adults too.
Last week, they moved into new dorms, but when we visited, there had been no power for 2 days.
Our heating is from electricity, so it gets very cold in here. We can't wash ourselves because we're 100% dependent on power. We don't even have basic hygienic conditions to exist. Our children suffer from acute respiratory viruses.
While we're speaking, the electricity comes back on.
We need to hurry. We're preparing borscht. Usually they give us 4 hours on and 4 hours off, according to a schedule. Finally, we'll warm up a little bit.
Back in the ruins of Nadia's apartment block, we find the unimaginable. Families still live here in the cold. 15-year-old Zhenya shares a tiny flat with his mother.
I have nowhere to live. I have no one to turn to. I'm disabled and I can't walk well. I have a blood clot in my head. I need an operation, but I'm not operable because I have a congenital heart disease and also diabetes.
With so much destruction, there's not enough housing.
70% of Irpin is broken. People live in dugouts.
The air in here is thick with smoke. It stinks and you can feel it in your lungs. Looking around, you ask yourself, how are people going to survive this winter? And even if they do, what will be the impacts on their health?
Doctors are already starting to observe the impacts of Russia's latest campaign.
There's fear, uncertainty, instability in our country, so there are many diseases of the female reproductive system. Now every second woman, young girl, has problems with their menstrual cycle because of stress.
On the front lines in Ukraine's east and south, the civilian death toll continues to rise. But if Russia's goal is to sap the energy and resolve of Ukraine's people, so far it isn't working.
They think they can create a leverage to press Ukrainians for maybe some kind of truce or ceasefire, but as you see, it's almost 2 months of this campaign. Yes, we have some losses, but we are persevering, we are in a defiance mode, and we still continue pressing Russians on the ground. They are not successful so far.
We hope that this is the last such terrible winter. We don't want to freeze, because our Ukrainian winters are severe. Legends are formed about them. But we will overcome everything, because we are a strong and smart nation, and the whole world knows about it.